Hi, thank you for joining. We are Heartly Broken, and I am Sarah.
I'm Jenna.
And we help moms focus on themselves during divorce. We feel it's very important to use this time during separation and divorce, to refocus on yourself so that you can heal and thrive. And so we talk about things like health, reducing stress, managing your finances, and just in general ways that you can relearn who you are, or get back in touch with yourself. And tonight is actually our third installment of Surviving the Holidays Through Divorce series. We devoted the month of December to helping you reduce your stress during the holidays, especially when you're going through a divorce. The holidays are stressful enough, and then when you add, separation and divorce on top of that, and visitations and coordinating those visitations, the holidays can become they can become an unenjoyable. Is that even a word? And so tonight we're going to be talking about creating new traditions. And I really like this topic because it's actually been something I've been thinking about for a lot, even before I had the idea to do this as a topic. And I've just we've been having some family drama too, which has kind of made me start thinking about it as well. But having a daughter, a 2.5-year-old daughter, while going through a divorce during the holidays, like all of this like compounded, and so that's why I've been thinking about it a lot. And when I see her, during this time, it reminds me a lot of when I was younger, and kind of things that I wish we would have started to do as a family, or things that would have been different when, during the holidays. Like I really didn't like, having to rush from family member's house to family member's house to family member's house, like all in one day. I didn't really like that. I didn't like the fact that, Christmas morning when we woke up, we had to, get right going somewhere else. We couldn't just, me and my parents just stay home and enjoy ourselves for a little bit. So there were some things, when you're young, you don't really have control over. And so I've been thinking about how I want, Christmas to be and the holidays to be for my daughter, and how, really as an adult, as a mom, how I want the holidays to be for myself. I'm sick of having the holidays be this stressful event that you just rush through to get through. I want to enjoy it, and I want to take my time. And so that's why traditions are important to me. I think they ground the family, and they ground especially the children during kind of a hectic time like the holidays are. And they connect the families. So why are traditions important to you, Jenna?
Well, I'd mentioned in maybe last week's show or the week before that last year was my first year, after I had been separated, going through the holidays, and it was just like a get through it kind of thing. I didn't do anything special. I didn't even buy like a big tree because I didn't have one. I only had a little one. Mm-hmm. So we had a little tree last year, and that's it. And I was working a lot last year too around the holidays because I worked in retail, which was also extremely stressful. So I was just trying to make it through everything. And I don't really even remember Christmas time very, very well last year as to like what I did with the kids. I don't think we did anything. And so I knew that this year, I feel a lot better, and and we're pretty established as to, like routines and everything. So I knew that, in the back of my mind for years, I'd been wanting to make an advent calendar, and I mentioned this too. But so that's been a really fun thing. The kids have been so excited every day to take off a little piece of paper and see what it says. And like today it was make hot chocolate, so I made some hot chocolate, and they were really excited about it. So, I mean, it's just little things, and I realized that it doesn't take much, and it wasn't expensive stuff either. I mean, I had everything on hand to make it, and I actually made it vegan, and they didn't know because I only had soy milk and I had coconut milk, so I made coconut whipped cream, peppermint coconut whipped cream, and they loved it, and it was actually pretty good. So yeah, I mean, that was really important for me to just start doing something that I've never done before in the past. I never did that when I was, with their dad. So
yeah.
Anyway, so that's been a really fun thing, and I really want to do it again next year. And it was so simple. I sat down and, and I wrote down all the ideas and all the things that we were going to do every day for the whole, from December 1st to December 25th. It took me maybe like 20 minutes to write everything down. So, yeah, that's been a really fun thing.
You didn't make an actual calendar. You just wrote down the ideas. Cool.
Yeah. I thought I had one right here. I guess I don't. It's just like a little note card, and then I used some washi tape, and then I just wrote the numbers, the dates, and then just taped them up on the fridge, on the side of the fridge. So
that's
yeah.
Because usually when people think of an advent calendar, they think of, that the big thing that you hang on the wall, and it's got little doors that you open or whatever. And
that's why I hadn't made one before, because I thought it's just going to take too much time and it's too complicated and all that. But then I saw some simple ideas on Pinterest, and then so that just made me think, I could make this a lot simpler than I'm trying to make it. So then that's why I just was like, why don't I just do it on some paper? And I actually think it looks kind of cute too. So I don't really care. And the kids love it. So I'm definitely going to keep this tradition for sure. Yeah. And I mean, seriously, one day you have a special treat, and I just got them some candy that was really cheap from the store, and they were excited. So I mean, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, it's funny how often parents tend to, overspend during the holidays, or overplan, or, overdo the holidays because they think they need to, do all this stuff to make their kids happy. But kids are they're easily happy. I mean, it doesn't really take much to make kids happy, and it doesn't take much money, and it doesn't take much time, and it doesn't really take that much effort, really.
No.
I think it takes more effort to make things more simple than it does,
True. It's like thinking outside the box, kind of. And that's kind of what I tried to do. And I spent some time looking on Pinterest for just different ideas, and then that gave me, other ideas. And so just kind of thinking, like cheap DIY Christmas. If you look that up, you're going to find so much on there. And like the other day, I didn't see this anywhere, but I just thought it'd be really fun. And I just said on the card, it said, take a silly Christmas photo. So I just snapped some pictures of them on my phone and then put them in PicMonkey, which is free. And then we made Isla a reindeer, and then we made Brecklin Santa, and they just looked hilarious and silly, and they had so much fun doing it. And then we also did the Elf Yourself video, and we were laughing so hard because it was hilarious. Because it was like the days of Christmas, but it was with cats, and so it was really great. Yeah, and so we laughed a lot, and it was really fun.
And all of that was free.
Yeah, exactly. And it was very entertaining.
Free entertainment. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I'm glad that you brought those up, because it reminded me of another reason why traditions are so important. Especially when you're going through a divorce, especially if you're going through, a situation that's causing a lot of stress in your life. Traditions are about the quality time. They're not about the thing that you buy. They're not about the money. They're about, and if you're going to start a tradition, you have to get the family involved. Like, it has to be a family affair. It has to be, you're going to have to connect with your family. You're going to have to spend quality time with your family. A tradition is not easily faked. So it's going to, it's going to force everyone to connect. It's going to force everyone to take a break from their day and take a break from the holiday and actually spend quality time together. And so, and I'm glad you brought up those ideas, because, traditions don't have to cost anything. They can be done with things that you have right at home, or like, most people have computers in their house, so they can, do something, do some simple activities like you were talking about. Like one tradition that I want to start, because for some reason, I love shopping for food. I love to grocery shop. And when I was with my husband, that was one of the things I looked forward to. Like, all my friends were like talking on Facebook about, oh, date night, my hubby's taking me to some fancy restaurant and blah, blah, blah. We're going to go see a movie. I'm like, date night, my husband and I are going to County Market or Meijer or whatever. And I had the funnest time. And, when our relationship started to go south, those trips became fewer and farther between, and then he was just going by himself, or I was just going by myself. And I really do miss going to the grocery store with him, because I don't know, I love food, and I love getting ingredients, and I love like going in and thinking about all the food I'm going to make and getting different ideas for different ingredients, and trying to get creative and try to save money by being creative. And so my point is, one of the traditions I want to start is the day before, a tradition that I'm keeping, and we'll get to that later too, because some traditions you might want to keep from your old relationship, from when the two of you were married. And one of the traditions I want to keep is doing fondue night on Christmas Eve. But I'm going to add a new tradition, the day before Christmas Eve. As a family, we're going to go to the store and get all the ingredients and get everything prepared the day before. Like, that's going to be our new tradition. So hopefully we're going to start that on Wednesday.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, okay, so I've kind of touched on this. So why create new traditions? Like, what's that going to help? How's that going to help us survive the holidays? Well, because traditions are so ingrained in family and family dynamics, and especially around the holidays, because your family is now broken up, it's kind of a new family. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Maybe like Jenna said, the first Christmas is, really difficult. And I mean, that's to be expected. But you have this new family now, this new family dynamic with different, if you have a child, they have different rules at different households. Like, everything's different. And instead of focusing on, all of this bad stuff and all the stress, you can focus on something positive, like creating a new tradition that you can look forward to with your side of the family. And if you have a good relationship with your ex, you can talk to your ex about this. You could say something like, I'm thinking about doing a new tradition with our son or daughter, whoever it is. Maybe you want to do a new tradition yourself, so our child can have a special tradition with you and a special tradition with us. So it's just a positive way to kind of commemorate and acknowledge the fact that you have a new family now, and it's just a very healthy way to start moving forward. And so Christmas time is the perfect time to start thinking about new traditions.
I agree very much so. And that's what I was thinking also. So much feedback right now. It's distracting. Anyway, I was thinking about that. That's exactly where my mindset was too, is like, we're a new family now. It's, a new family kind of, and that is a good thing. And that's exactly why I want to do it too, is like, this is our family going forward, and let's, and like all the stuff that, maybe you put off because the other person didn't really want to do it, or that they didn't like it or whatever,
Yeah.
now's your chance to do what you never did before. And if
Yeah.
it was always in the back of your mind, like also with the, we went and got a real tree, and I had never gotten one before. Not even when I was a kid. So that's, something completely new, and we all had a lot of fun doing it. The only thing I've found though is I hate how sharp the needles are. It's like torture putting the friggin' ornaments on. It's like, ow, ow. I hate that. That's the worst part about it. But other than that, I do like
it. Sorry, I'm just writing a note because whenever you talk, I get ideas, and then when it's my turn to talk, I can't remember them. So I try to write them down. Okay, so when you were talking, it gave me the idea that, not only are you a new family, and you mentioned something about there's probably something that you've wanted to do during the holidays, but you didn't because your spouse didn't want to, or you didn't have the same interest or whatever. And I'm really glad you brought that up, because we, on Heartily Broken, we talk a lot about reconnecting with yourself, and how when you're in a relationship, even a good one, you can lose yourself in that relationship if you're not careful. And especially in a bad one, you can lose yourself. You can lose yourself for many different reasons, from trying to always please the other person, to to the other extreme, that maybe the person you're with is abusive in some way. So whatever your past relationship was like, there are probably some things that you put on the back burner, or some things that you changed in yourself to please the other person or whatever. And so creating a new tradition with something that you want to do, with something you want to focus on with your child, is a great healing process step to start to reconnect with yourself and relearn who you are, and especially who you are in this new role. If you have full custody of your child, then you're a single mom. This is a new role that you have, and a new situation. And so using the holidays to create new traditions is just a really positive way to start the healing process. So how do we start new traditions? Because I mentioned earlier in the video that my family and I are kind of going through some drama, and most of that drama is centered around the fact that our families are changing. I have a daughter, and my cousins both have sons who are about the same age as my daughter, and one of my cousins just had a daughter a few months ago. So our families are growing. There's more of us to see. My aunt and my uncle live in Ohio. My cousins live in kind of northern Illinois, and then we're in central Illinois. And so because of all of this, there's some friction going on. And so all this is to say that starting new traditions can be difficult, especially if you're like the young one in the family, kind of, like the position that I'm in, because a lot of older generations don't really like change. It's just kind of how they are. And when a young so-and-so comes in and says, no, I'd like to do things this way, it can create friction. So, changing the status quo and sticking up for yourself in a family dynamic can be difficult. But I think it's so important. Again, especially if you're going through a divorce. So what are your comments on that, Jenna? I know that you've kind of gone through some family dynamic issues too.
Yes. And for the past, ever since I left and I was separated, there are family get-togethers that I always went to in the past that I decided not to go to. Mm-hmm. In the past year even. And I even had a cousin texting me and asking me where it was and why I wasn't there, and trying to guilt me into, you know, either coming or like give me a guilt trip. But
Yeah.
I just told her, you know, you don't understand. And she's younger than me,
Mm.
has never been married. So, I mean, I try to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I know that she cares about me. It's just, you know, I just told her like, you know, I'm changing, and, you know, obviously you don't understand that, but I can't just go to everything that everybody wants me to go to. I just can't, you know, I don't feel like it, you know, and to me, that's a valid reason not to go. If you don't feel like going, like how you were saying, you know, if you don't want to run around to like a million different Christmases, why not start a new tradition where you're like, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Exactly.
What's the big deal? I mean, it's your life. And if you're a grown adult and you have your own family, even if you don't have any kids, if you don't feel like going, don't go.
Yeah.
What, you know, who's going to stop you or make you cut? Nobody. You know, just, you know, do what's best for you and your family.
Yeah.
And if your kids already, you know, if you have kids and they have to be with you and, you know, your ex on the holiday anyway, that's, you know, I grew up doing that, and that's not really fun. So if you can minimize stress, you know, in any way possible where they don't have to be shipped around from house to house to house, you know, just make it easy, make it easier, and just keep the things that are important to you. Like how I had said, you know, something that I've been doing forever and I want to continue is going to be with my mom on Christmas Eve. Like we've just, you know, we've always done that, and that's important to me. So we will do that, and then we'll come home, but we're not going to like a million Christmases.
Right.
Because, you know, that's just, I've done, I think one year, let's see, I think I went to like 6 Christmases one year.
Wow.
When I was, probably about 10 years ago. Like, or maybe 9 years ago, like when I was first married. I think that was 9 years ago. And it was just horrible. I absolutely hated it. And I decided I'm not doing this anymore. I don't care, you know, like I know all these people care about me and us and want to see us and everything, but I just can't do this.
Yeah.
Like I just can't, you know, because both of my parents got remarried, and then they have family, you know, and so we would go to not only my mom and dad, then we'd go to, you know, my spouse's parent, then we'd go to, you know, the extended relatives, and it's just like, no, I can't do this. So, yeah.
I mean, and, you know, when you're going through a divorce or separation, things are stressful enough. Yeah. And my motto is, you know, if there is stress that I could say goodbye to, then I'm going to do that. Because I don't need more stress in my life right now.
Right.
And, you know I'm not the only person who has family that some family members they don't like, but especially when you're going through a divorce or separation, I think it's so incredibly important to limit the negative vibes in your life. And, you know, one of those ways, unfortunately, is to say no sometimes to family events, and you're going to rock the boat and you're going to upset people. But in the end, you're going to heal better, and you're going to be a better parent while going through divorce. And it's just, it's so important. But I know it's really hard. I understand that it's really hard. So let's say, you know, you've gotten past the fact that it's difficult, and you've made a stand that you want to start new traditions. So I think a good way to do that is to sit the family down. Whoever is a part of whoever you want to be a part of this decision. So you and your kids, if you're close to your parents, then, you know, invite them and say, you know, I'm thinking about starting new traditions. Let's get some ideas going. You know, it could just be you and your kids, and you can have different traditions for, you know, different family members. So let's say you're going to start a new tradition that's just you and your kids, and then you're going to have another tradition that you're going to start with your, you know, your parents or cousins or whoever it is that's outside of your immediate family. And just start talking, or maybe even have them write a list of things that they've always wanted to do. There's a reindeer ranch that's really close to where I live, and I've always wanted to. We've been there once before. It was before I had Olivia, but I really want to make that a tradition, because how often do you get to see reindeer first?
Right.
And secondly, they have like this cute little shop, and they have a cafe, and so yeah, like just start writing down ideas, things that you've always wanted to do, and then talk about it and whittle it down. And 1 year maybe you try one thing and it didn't work out as well as you'd hoped, so the next year you try something else. Or maybe you try. Maybe you can set one and try, or like maybe you can say, let's try these 3. And then you try one the first weekend of December, one the second weekend of December, or whatever, and, knock them all out. So then by by Christmas, what your tradition is gonna start being. Or, you can do it a number of different ways. I'm kind of ambitious, so I'd probably do it, hey, let's try 5 different ones this year and see which one we like the most. Like, that's just me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Chances are what your tradition is going to be. But if you're stuck, and if you want to try a new tradition, but you just don't know what one to do or what to start, then get the family involved and talk about it, and I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Yes, I agree. I think that traditions start from just trying something new.
Yeah,
in my life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they become traditions, it's just
right.
Because you don't know necessarily if it's going to work out to, be something that you do every year. Like, I guess it's kind of easy for me to try new things around the holidays, because my family has changed so much, and even my mom's side of the family, who we get together with every Christmas and every Thanksgiving, every Easter, we've done that for years. But they've changed it up so much. Like, every year we change. So I guess for me, it's not that hard to kind of be like, hey, let's just do something else this year, And
right.
So it's, you could have a tradition to not have a tradition. You know what I mean?
That's
to just
good.
do something new every year. If you and I agree with you about, getting the family involved. Like, hey, we did this last year and I really liked it, but did you guys like it? Like, kind of, not just doing things because you do it, and
right,
not just assuming everybody liked it,
right.
And obviously you can't cater to everybody, but so I just wanted to mention that, like, 1 year, I think Brecklin was 2, so this was about 6-7 years ago. We went out to a Chinese restaurant for Christmas Eve. And so that was really fun. And it was so different because we'd never done that before.
Yeah.
And then, so that was kind of the start of, like, my mom being like, hey, let's do something new, like, every year. Let's try, like, a new theme or, like, a new food every year, every Christmas.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
So
idea.
that's something that we do. And, like, when we go to my aunt's, we're going to have Italian. Like, so, and then another year we did all Mexican food. So,
cool.
And that was really fun too. And I was like, okay, we have to play Feliz Navidad. So we did a few times. It was really fun though. It's just like, it's fun to try new things. That can be, and that is kind of our tradition, is to kind of try a new thing every year and see if we like it or not. And it's always memorable, because I know that some families are more traditional and they'll do the, Christmas ham or turkey, but it's like, we just did that for Thanksgiving. So I think that's why my family doesn't do it anymore. And plus, there are no grandparents. So I think that's why we also don't kind of do traditional anymore, because there's no parents,
Grandparents are away, let's party.
Well, yeah, all my grandparents have passed away years ago now. So
oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I mean.
No,
no, it's fine.
I'm so sorry.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. There's no, grandparents at all.
Okay.
Like it's just my aunts and my mom and
Right,
their families. So
right.
yeah, so that's what I mean.
I'm
there's no
sorry.
there's no no, it's fine. It's just there's nobody to be like, well, why are we changing this?
Right.
There's no, like how you said, some people get set in their ways. So,
Like, I think
especially
you bring up a good point about traditions, and I tend to think about things like very systematically sometimes, and so I'm like, okay, well, how do we create a new tradition? But you brought up a really good point that sometimes traditions just happen. I mean, you do something one year, and the next year you're like, oh, well, remember when we did this last year? Let's do it again this year. Like that was really fun, and then it becomes a tradition. So maybe the point is to just be open to be open to new things, be open to something that could possibly become a tradition. Maybe don't set out to try to force something to be the tradition, but to just slow down and enjoy the holidays, and most likely something will pop up that will become a new tradition for you. So we are about out of time. One last thing I wanted to talk about, and I mentioned it earlier in the video. Traditions. We've been talking about how to start new traditions and being open to new traditions, but there might be some traditions from when you were with your spouse that you want to keep. Like mine, I can't remember when we started this. It wasn't. It was maybe a few years after we got married. So we've been doing it for several years. We would do fondue night on Christmas Eve. And at first it was just me and my husband and my mom and my dad. And then one year my grandma and grandpa and a friend of mine came. And that was huge. That was way too much food. It was way too many fondue forks and fondue pots and all this stuff. Like that was just too much. So then the next year we're like, okay, we're going to keep it small again. And then the year before last year. So the last Christmas that my husband and I had together was when my daughter was like 6 months old. And for some reason, I can't remember why we decided this, but for some reason it was decided that we were having Christmas Eve at my grandparents' house. So we lugged all of the ingredients for fondue, all of our fondue pots, all of our fondue plates and forks and all of this stuff up about 30 minutes away, and set up fondue at my grandparents' house. And it was the most stressful thing in the world. And so we're like, no, next year we're not doing this. And then it was the next year that we separated. But we did have fondue here at my parents' house, and we're going to have it again on Thursday night. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I've already said no a couple times to bringing the fondue up to my grandma's. Like, no, I'm not doing that. That's just not going to happen. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I think it's important to keep old traditions, especially if they're really important to you. Like food is really important to me, and fondue is my favorite food in the world. So that is definitely one tradition I wanted to keep going. Anything to do with food, I want to keep going.
That's funny because that's one thing that I was thinking of that I want to keep. I didn't do it last year, and it's not for Christmas, it's for New Year's Eve.
Oh.
But a tradition that my ex and I had was having spaghetti on New Year's Eve with the kids, and then cupcakes and the Welch's grape juice, and then like a dance party.
Okay.
It was really fun. And just like doing the countdown at like 8 p.m., like at their bedtime.
Yeah.
And then they go to sleep. But yeah, it was really fun. And then like getting the silly party hats, the cheap ones, and little, blowers and poppers and stuff. So yeah, that was really fun, and I want to do that because I didn't do it last year. I just didn't feel, like I said, I was really busy last year, and I was just trying to get through everything,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to do that this year because it was really fun in the past. So yeah, I want to keep that going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't been doing this, and we've tried to get back on track with it. But what we want to do at the end of all of our videos is give like a DIY, or like a fun homework assignment or a fun activity or something like that, to kind of help get you out of your divorce brain. That's what I'm going to coin that now. Divorce brain. There's pregnant brain. There's mommy brain. There's divorce brain. There definitely is divorce brain. So,
yes.
So we like to close with an activity or something that can get you out of your divorce brain. And so today, since it's Christmas and it's like 4 days before Christmas, we thought we would give like a last minute Christmas gift ideas. And one that I actually just gave to my daughter's babysitter is homemade spa products. And homemade spa products are so insanely simple to make. Like I don't understand why people spend hundreds of dollars on store-bought like body scrubs and bath salts and lotions and all this stuff. Lotions are a little bit more difficult to make just because you have to heat everything up and the ingredients are not that common. But scrubs, like face scrubs and hand scrubs, the base of it is just salt for hand scrub, which can also be used on a foot scrub or on your elbow. Elbows, people have to. And either olive oil, even vegetable oil. Olive oil is better if you can find it. Saffron oil, or I never know how to pronounce it. It's like Goboba or something like that. Jojoba?
Oh yeah, jojoba.
Jojoba or whatever. That's a really good one too. Sunflower oil is really good. Those the safflower, sunflower, and jojoba are, and I think you can use almond. I think I've seen some with almond oil. Those are going to be more expensive, but obviously olive oil and vegetable oil are, cheaper. I would actually go with olive oil over vegetable oil, but you probably have vegetable oil in your cabinet already. So just go with what you have. So you mix the oil and the salt together until you form kind of a mushy paste. So you don't want it too dry, but you don't want it like soupy either. And then you just take a little with your hand, and if you're, if it's hand scrub it with your hands. I like to get in between my fingers, like when you go like this, because it feels so good. It's like a little mini massage. And then you just run your hands under water and rinse it off in the sink. You can get fancy schmancy and add like essential oils if you want to, but basically it's just the oil and the salt. And for a face scrub, it's oil and sugar. And I put lavender oil in my face scrub, and it smells really yummy and it's really relaxing. I would use the face scrub just like once a week. Never use salt on your face. Salt is very abrasive. Sugar is more gentle for your face. So just use the face scrub just once a week. And you can use the salt scrub on your hands, feet. For feet, an essential oil that's really good for foot scrub is peppermint. Eucalyptus and peppermint. That's the scrub that I made for my babysitter. And it does not take that long to make. Like, you just mix all the ingredients together and put it in a jar. I mean, it probably will take you like 5 minutes. It'll probably take you longer to find the ingredients in the back of your cupboard than it will to actually mix everything together and put it in a jar. And I have a huge jar of it. Like, I made some for her, and now I have leftover for me. And so it's awesome. It took me like 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's great.
It was awesome. So, we hope you've enjoyed the video. We are going to get going now. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Blab if you're a blabber. And check out our Facebook page. We've post like inspirational quotes to help you get through divorce and you know, just the stress that you're going through. And also check out our website. It's heartlybroken.com. That's heart, like your heart, broken.com. And you know, if you have any ideas for any topics you want us to talk about, please let us know either on our YouTube page or our Facebook. And I really hope that you have a great holiday. And I hope that we've helped your holiday become at least a little less stressful. So we will see you next week right here on Blab, and usually upload the video the next day. So yeah, and we've made a playlist on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen the other two parts to this series, go ahead and check that out. There's a link to the next part at the end of every video so that you can follow along in order. And I will stop talking now because now I'm blabbing. And have a wonderful holiday. And we'll see you next time. All right. Bye.
Bye.